What's up YouTube? Simon here. Today I want to discuss real estate debt, if it's a good idea or a bad idea. When is it a good thing? When is it a bad thing? Also, debt in general, is it good or bad? Before I get into this video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. As always, I'd like to make content for you guys to better improve your life. Leave some comments and let's get into this video. Real estate debt. There's good debt, there's bad debt, and there's moderate debt. What? Good debt is debt basically that you incur on your property, such as a cash out refinance. It's debt usually into things that appreciate in value, whether it's a very exclusive property or a exotic car that will grow in value over the years. That is good debt. So if you are getting a loan out on a property that you suspect will grow in value, that's considered a good debt. A moderate debt is something like a mortgage. It takes away a lot of interest. And if you look at the long-term mortgages, you're paying a lot for the house. So if you don't expect this house to appreciate in value, that's actually not potentially a debt that is considered a good debt because it's not going to make you money. Bad debt is something like a loan on a car that depreciates value, or a loan on a nice boat that will depreciate in value as well. So that's considered bad debt, and that's debt that I try to stay away from. So my investments have been good debt investments. My first property I purchased for $500,000. I lived there for a couple years. As the property value grew, I was able to do a cash out refinance. In fact, my property value grew to $900,000. So I was able to pull out another $300,000 from the property and invest it into my second property. And that is considered a good debt. I took on more debt, but I was able to put it in an asset versus a depreciating asset that's going to go down, and I would lose money plus the interest. That's how you're able to get into the real estate game. Now, if you don't have good credit, this is not even an option. So check out my credit repair video on how to get excellent credit and make sure that you qualify for any type of loan possible. Bad debt, and what will also hurt your credit, is credit cards. If you have credit card debt, that is considered a horrible debt. You're paying through the roof in interest. That is a debt you never want to carry. That is a terrible idea. So what you want to do to continuously incur good debt is leveraging your properties. You want to leverage your properties by doing cash out refinancing if you need that extra money. What it allows you to do is, if you're not very cash rich but your property has gained value, you could pull a lot of money out of that property, put it in another property, and continue investing and earning a passive income by renting some of these properties, etc. So leveraging one property's equity and the gain in equity to invest in another property, in my opinion, is a good idea if you could manage the payments. There are different types of loans that they offer. There's a fixed rate for 15 and 30 years, mortgage rates which are very low nowadays. I typically get fixed 30-year mortgages with a very low interest rate of around 3%. That enables me to make low payments, get a tenant to pay off my mortgage, at the same time earn a passive income. There's a 15-year payment if you have a plan to keep these properties and pay them off in a shorter period of time, but you could afford to pay more or even cover above what your tenant may be paying you. That is a good strategy as well. Then there are adjustable loans, which are ARM loans. I don't recommend those unless you're planning to flip your property within the next several years after buying it. So stay away from those. My father got caught in one and almost lost his house before getting me involved to help him out. Finally, there's also interest-only mortgages. These mortgages are very good if you're a real estate investor. So if I bought a property and I have about a year and a half to flip this property after my remodel, I bought it below market, which is the only way you guys should ever buy properties. Say, the average rate is $1,000 a square foot in your area, and you found a property that's $500-600 a square foot in that same zip code. You remodel it, you're able to sell it back up at $1,000 to $1,200. That's considered a good investment. That's what I look for even in today's hot market. So if you're able to go ahead and get properties like that, do it. Great thing about getting debt is you get to deduct the interest on your real estate property purchases from your taxes. So even if you get an interest-only loan, you're deducting that interest on your taxes. This is one way you could really magnify your investment portfolio. This is something I've been doing for many years over, and as of now, I probably have about close to $4 million in real estate debt. Net worth and debt are two different things. Net worth is what the value of the properties are minus your debt, and that's kind of how you calculate your net worth on your real estate level. So keep in mind, real estate debt is a good thing as long as you can manage it. A lot of people lost their butt in the real estate market in 2008 because they bought a lot of properties, but when things hit the fan, they weren't able to pay those mortgages, and then the banks came in and started seizing all of their properties. So if you're going to invest in real estate, make sure you have a second source of income that could cover any potential losses from your real estate property. If you're potentially investing in commercial real estate right now and it's not a residential multifamily unit, I'd be very careful because a lot of businesses are going out of business, especially in retail, and they're not paying their rent. And if you can't pay the government, although there are deferment programs, you're going to be head over heels trying to catch up to that payment. So my advice is stick with areas that are potentially hotbeds, that you know the real estate market is continuously climbing, where you've seen prices continuously going up in that residential zip code or area. And if you have your first down payment, go ahead, purchase a property. After a few years into that property, you could potentially get equity in that property. You could take that equity out, reinvest it in another property, and that's how you build your real estate portfolio and become wealthy. If you don't have your initial down payment, you simply got to save and get to that level. It's very seldom that someone will offer you a loan with zero money down, especially in today's market. The banks are actually asking more than 25% down. So if you're coming in at a property that's $1 million, you want at least $250,000 down is what they're requesting. Sometimes even more, 300, 350, and so depending on your credit. So credit is essential. Good debt is good debt if you're continuously rolling it over to real estate properties and still ensuring that you could securely make those payments through great tenants or through other means where you have money backing up those investments. Bad debt is when you're purchasing vehicles and cars and they depreciate right off the lot. You're buying a boat that costs $100,000 and in 3 months it's worth $75,000 on the used market. That's bad debt because you're paying for the interest and the principal of the $100,000 purchase. In my recent video, the Tesla Model X I purchased, that's a bad debt. I mean, I got that car for $107,000. I'm going to be paying, I believe, $1,300 a month with almost $20,000 down. That includes taxes and drive off in first month, but that's a bad debt. So that's a vehicle that I'm not too proud of. Now, if you amplify that and you buy an exotic Ferrari for $500,000, that's a horrible investment. I'd rather put that money potentially into real estate and buy a condo that would appreciate, incurring myself good debt, than a Ferrari, which is bad debt, or potentially any other vehicles that would depreciate, which is bad debt, and almost all of them do unless you have a one of one or a very special one. I hope you guys like this video. Please go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe. If you have any questions, go ahead, post them below. I answer the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys here next time. Thank you.